you said your starters aren't ready to play a full 30+ minute load. What do you think we can expect from them tonight?
I think a few of them are, more ready than others. I mean, Steph, Jordan, Wiggs are all capable of, getting up to 30 or a little bit beyond. Obviously, Clay is not. I don't think Draymond. I wouldn't feel comfortable playing him big minutes tonight either. So, yeah, we'll have to ease into it a little bit. But we're planning on playing a lot of people anyway this year. We've got a lot of depth and we want to use it. So we've got to be able to rely on it here tonight and, first couple of weeks of the season.
Hey, Steve, you have a lot of experience in this, but how do you find a balance of enjoying the night and appreciating the moment of all the festivities before and celebrating a championship while also staying locked in and achieving your ultimate goal of winning the game tonight?
You just go play. There's not a whole lot that I can say other than, before we head out, we know it's going to be fun and we know it'll be emotional. A loss isn't going to take away from the achievement, but a lot more fun if you go ahead and win the game too. So that's the intention. But regardless, we got 81 left and after this, and we move forward.
Hey, Steve, will Pat be available tonight with that right thumb sprain?
Not sure yet. He's working out on the practice floor now, and I'll get word as soon as we can. Raymond will have that for you.
Hi, Steve. I'm right here. You talked about Clay briefly with Kendra, but we talked about him last preseason, trying to easing him back into the fold. When do you expect him just to be completely back into the lineup and playing the minutes that you want him to play?
That'll just be sort of a day-to-day, week-to-week thing. So, he's going to play tonight, and hopefully the plan would be to ramp up his minutes next game and a little bit more after that. But it's hard to predict exactly how long that'll take.
So just Steve, looking at your roster, you've got 11 really playable guys, and I know you like playing a lot of people, and you've had maybe an 11-man rotation before, something close to that. Can you draw up an 11-man rotation? Is that how this is going to start, or is there going to be one or two guys even from the start who might even get a DMP?
We could see 11 tonight, depending on how the game goes. For sure, 10. I've already talked to the team about the idea that over the course of the season everybody's going to get their opportunities, but what that level of commitment to the team requires is, understanding that certain nights, aren't going to be your night. And I think one of the reasons we've had a lot of success over the years, I know that 14-15 team really embraced that strength in numbers philosophy. Guys just committed to it and understood that, over time, everyone was going to contribute and get their chance, but it's tough. All these guys have individual goals. They want to play, and there are going to be nights where they just have to, move forward and keep working, and that's the plan.
Steve, I realize this would be easier to answer later, but how different do you think the ceremony pregame will feel compared to the previous few? I mean, as you've mentioned, that the previous two with Durant, you sort of had a loaded roster, and the journey of last season was much different, it seemed. I'm curious if that will reflect at all, do you think, in the feelings and the vibe when you have the ceremony?
I've never had a bad ring night, I can tell you that. They're all awesome. And so I'm really excited for tonight. Excited for our fans, for our players, whole organization. It's just, it's just such a great celebration of something that is very difficult to accomplish. So it's important that we, recognize the accomplishment, hang the banner, hand out the rings, and then it's officially time to, move on to this season.
I was getting worried. I thought that he was going to take my ring question. So, Steve, how many rings do you have, and what do you hope this ring will look like? I mean, do you want something special on this that you don't already have?
Given that I normally wear all of them, each day, I hope this one complements the others very well. So that's all I'm hoping for. Yeah. I don't even know what that means, actually.
Hi, Steve.
Hi, Jeannie.
Along those lines, Ron kind of beat me to it, but to see some of the guys who have rings for the first time, how special will it be for you to sort of watch observe them getting that. And you've spoken so many times how we don't take this for granted and how it doesn't necessarily happen every year.
Yeah, yeah, and especially coming off of where we were the previous 2 seasons. I think I've said this a few times publicly, but I really do feel like we won the title last year, not in spite of the previous 2 years, but in many ways because of the previous 2 years. And when you think of all the work that Jordan and Wiggs put in, during those down years to get better, to be ready for what they faced last year, and then to come up so big. Looney too, where he was health-wise. He spent those 2 years really searching for good health, not only, being in the training room, but, consulting with different doctors and trying different things. So that was a long haul, but it was all part of the journey that led to the title, which makes this really special. So everybody's going to be excited, but I always kind of look at the first year guys with, the guys who are winning their first ring with, an extra sense of joy.
We're talking about the rotation crunch earlier. How feasible is it going to be to play Wiseman and Kuminga together, or how much is your preference to kind of separate them?
They played pretty well together in the preseason. I think coming into the year, frankly, I was thinking we would need to separate them. They've actually complemented each other pretty well. And JaMychal also with those 2 guys has spaced the floor, given them some veteran help and leadership. And so tonight you'll probably see them on the floor together, and we'll see how it goes.
Hi, Steve.
Hi, Rich.
You're joking about wearing all your rings at the same time, but in all seriousness, this is your 9th ring. Did you have a point over the off season or even leading up to tonight where you thought about what that means to you, given you weren't the number 1 draft pick when you came in, to expect to have 9 rings, not necessarily what you would think on day 1? Have you called Phil to say, I'm coming for you?
When I think about it, it's more just how surreal it feels than anything. I mean, when I was drafted way back in 1988, I was just hoping to make the team with Phoenix and maybe make the league for a couple of years. So the journey I've been on has been far-fetched and unlikely, and just I think incredibly fortuitous in terms of the people that have affected me and influenced me in the game. Being able to play with, Jordan, Pippen, Duncan, Robinson, to coach the group I'm coaching, to be coached by Phil and Pop and Lenny Wilkins, Cotton Fitzsimmons, Lute Olson. It's sort of, like I'm going to wake up and it's not going to be real. I honestly feel that way sometimes. So it's, I just try to remind myself to keep enjoying every second, because I've been very lucky.
Steve, on Friday, I asked Clay about ring night. He said he was going to have trouble sleeping last night going into tonight, but Jonathan Kuminga said he kind of forgot it was coming up. So complete opposite spectrum. Can you kind of speak to the difference of the guys have done a long time and then the guys with their first ring? And did you forget your first ring night?
No, definitely not. Yeah, I mean, I think every player is different. I think, one of the things that makes this season intriguing is you get guys who are at very different points of their career. So, Clay's got 4 rings now, and he's done everything you can do pretty much as a pro. And JK's just trying to get things started. So he wants to make his own impact on things, which I love. And so it's kind of fun getting to know each guy and understanding where they're coming from, what their circumstances are, and trying to help them, reach their goals.
Steve, sorry for yet another question focused on you and your rings. I know you like to put the focus on the players, but if you'll indulge me, you ever put the 9, or once you get the 9th, will you ever put them together to see the Bulls and the Spurs and the Warriors and how they look as a collective?
I have not, but I'd like to. I think they are, some of them are in a safe deposit box at the bank, and then some of them are at home, and it's I mean, this sounds kind of arrogant, I guess, but yeah, I need to get them all together.
Hey, Steve, in preparing for this game, what did you see from the Lakers in the preseason, and just what are your thoughts on this basically brand new group?
Well, they played well against us here, a week or so ago. Anthony Davis in particular, he looked as good as I've ever seen him look. And LeBron didn't play that night. Patrick Beverly didn't play. So they weren't whole, but to me, the biggest thing was that AD looked like himself, looked healthy, looked really productive. So that's what we're expecting tonight.
Hey, Steve. Given all the growth that Andrew Wiggins showed last season, how do you expect him to build off of this for this upcoming season?
I just told him if he can rebound like that in the playoffs, then he can do it in the regular season. So I'm looking at his rebounding stats each night, and I'm going to hold him to the bar that he set for himself. I think he averaged 7 boards a game in the playoffs. That may be wrong, but I remember he had games of 16 and 12 and 11. And so part of this year's message for him has been attack the glass, go get it. He's playing next to some guys who are going to shoot a lot. So if you want the ball, go get it off the glass, and he can do that. He's really good at it.